A long, long time ago, I went to an NLP seminar, the first of many, many self-development seminars I would go to. And if you've ever been to a seminar, a live in-person seminar, not a Zoom seminar or an online seminar, if you've ever been to a live seminar with a bunch of other people, you probably have a common seminar experience. And that is, there's always one or two people at these places that after a couple of days, people kind of want to stay away from. You want to, when it comes time to do the exercises, you listen to something the seminar teacher says, and he'll say, okay, now do this in pairs. People will tend to avoid this person. They'll kind of look over here and hope this person doesn't say, hey, let's work together, because then you're like, ah, crap. And there's this one woman at this seminar that was very much like this. She was really, really full of herself. And based on how she described herself, where she came from, her lifestyle, I could only guess that maybe she inherited some money, because she had this really strange outlook about how the world works, and she didn't seem to have any kind of experience needing to get out into the world and apply herself to make a living to survive. She had this idea that she just needed to show up and the world would just give her free stuff. And whenever she had an opportunity, she would share these paintings that she would do. She had somehow along the line, in some other self-development seminar that she went to, picked up this idea that she was an intuitive painter. Based on how she described this seminar, the seminar students would close their eyes, do some kind of meditation, tap into some spirit of the universe, and let that spirit flow through them and paint something. And this painting would have some kind of deep significance. And she couldn't wait to show other people these paintings, because these paintings were somehow representative of her deep intuitive gifts that she believed she just needed to show up and the world would automatically recognize. I remember specifically one particular exercise that we did where I ended up working with her. It was near the end of the seminar. And the exercise was, imagine that it's 10 years in the future. Imagine you've achieved a significant amount of your goals, or you've made significant progress towards your life's ambition. And the idea was, you're at the end of 10 years and you're explaining to someone how you achieved what you'd already achieved. And the idea is to go back and say, well, I went to this seminar, I learned this skill, and then I started practicing this skill, and then I changed my life in this direction, and I made this choice, and I did some hustling on this and that and the other thing, and I started to learn different skills, and I started to communicate more persuasively, and I came up with these ideas using these brainstorming skills, and I took some of the creative ideas that worked and I applied them, and I started to earn more money. And you're supposed to describe the things you did to get to your ambition 10 years in the future, the things you learned, the experiences you had, the choices you made. That was the purpose of the exercise, to have the kind of an action-oriented future, to plan your future by imagining you're on the other end of your future and explaining what you did to get there. But she didn't seem to get that. Her answers were always in the form of, well, I left the seminar and I got on the plane back home and I sat next to this rich guy and he asked me to marry him and he gave me a lot of money, and I took this money and I started to promote my artwork and I became super famous. And when she described how she got to where she wanted to go, she was always describing it in terms of just showing up in the world and getting free stuff. It didn't reference at all the stuff she gave to the world, she offered to the world, she provided to the world. I went to this lecture a long time ago by an economist, and he was saying that everything is based on exchange. And this is why they call economics the dismal science, that it forces us to acknowledge, it forces us to recognize, it forces us to appreciate that everything costs something. Unfortunately, in the modern world, a lot of people have the success strategy of just going out into the world and just being present and waiting for the world to give you free stuff. But the economist was saying it doesn't work like that, because everybody out in the world is just like you. Everybody out in the world has limited time and limited resources and limited confidence and limited social skills and limited opportunities and a lot of desires with associated frustrations and anxieties with those desires. And so the only way you can get something from the world is to first provide something to the world. But most people don't recognize that. Most people are still stuck in the childhood mindset. Maybe not most people, but a lot of people. A lot of people are stuck in the childhood mindset. When we are children, you don't need to worry about giving and getting. You just say, where's my stuff? And you make a bunch of noise until somebody gives you your free stuff. But once you get to a certain age, you're supposed to go through a transition where you shift from the childhood mindset into the adult mindset. And when you shift into the adult mindset, you have a realization that in order to get something from the world, you have to give something first to the world. And what you get in exchange for what you give is based on the value of what you give. But here's the deep, harsh truth. One of the reasons they call economics the dismal science is the value of what you give is not value according to you. The value of what you give is always valued according to the receiver of what you give. If you offer something to the world and the world says that's not very valuable, you're not going to get a lot of stuff in return. This is why so many people are destined for loneliness in romantic relationships. They look in the mirror and they say, I'm a 10. I'm a 10. Therefore, I deserve a 10 in response for my giving of a 10, which is me. But if the world doesn't think you're a 10, you're not going to get a 10 in response. If you think you're a 10, but the world thinks you're a 3, all you're going to get in exchange is a 3. And so if you have this sense of entitlement that a lot of people have, and you go out into the world and you offer what you think is a 10, and you have this expectation of getting a 10 back, but all you're offering is a 3, so you get a 3 back, you're going to think, oh, the world's broken. The world doesn't recognize my value. The world is not supposed to recognize your value. All value is subjective. That's the deep economic harsh truth. You can get whatever you want from the world so long as you are willing to provide something to the world first according to their value system, not yours. But if you understand this basic law of economics, if you understand this basic law of exchange, and you make a decision to work within this law, to figure out what people want according to their value system, and then figure out a way to give it to them, you can get from them whatever you want. But you must make the transition. You must ditch any law of attraction thinking. You must ditch any magical thinking that says all you need to do is go out into the world and wait for your free stuff from the world. Because everybody, every other of the 8 billion people that live on this earth would love to get free stuff. So if you do believe, if there is still a remnant of this belief deep in your psyche, that all you need to do is go out into the world and get free stuff, you have to ask yourself this question. All of the 8 billion people in the world would love to receive free stuff, but there is a limited amount of stuff in the world. So why do you get free stuff, but all the other 8 billion people have to work for their stuff? What is special about you? If you believe you're a 10 and you get the rare 10s in exchange for a romantic partner, why are these rare 10s choosing you and not all the other people who mistakenly and self-delusionally believe that they're a 10? These are the harsh questions that you need to ask yourself that many, many people are unwilling to ask themselves. But if you are willing to ask yourself these questions and accept these truths, these economic truths about reality, that you have to give other people something first according to their value system before you expect something in exchange from them, if you appreciate this, if you work within this model, then you have a fighting chance to get what you want from the world. Because all you have to do is develop your communication skills and talk to people about what they want. Listen to what they want. Don't make an assumption about what you think they should want. Don't make an assumption about what you hope they want. Don't make an assumption that what you have is what they want. Turn that crap off and ask people what they want. It's really that easy. Because once you start to orient your communication towards other people, and you start to ask them what they want, and you really listen to what they want and help them describe what they want and help them get clear in their brains about what they want, a light will go off inside of them, and they will see you through this light of their own described, articulated desire. This is a fantastic way to make people feel happy. And by making people feel happy, you will be giving them something what they want, and they will be motivated by their instincts to reciprocate. And when they are motivated by their instincts to reciprocate, this is the basis of mutually beneficial relationships. But it starts by accepting the harsh laws of economics, that everything costs something and that all value is subjective according to them, not to you. But if you accept these truths, if you accept that you must go first and stop leading with what you want and lead the conversation, lead the interaction by asking them about what they want, you will have a fighting chance to get what you want. Shift the polarity, go out into the world, seek to find what other people want first, and then you can get what you want second. It's actually fairly simple. It's not easy, it's not quick, it's not magical, but it's fairly straightforward. If you'd like to learn a communication model that will help you do this, check out the links below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.